Today I'm in Elie on the east nuke of Fife. I had 3 hours child free, so I attempted to run as much of the Fife coastal path as possible. Before we get too far into the video, I need to point out that it was a very windy day when I recorded this. Some of the spoken bits to camera are a bit undecipherable due to background noise. I've left in the better bits and I'll talk over the bits that didn't come out so well. That was fine, 3 hours running's a bit lonely, so I brought 2 friends with me today. So I've got Bonnie the collie and Doc the lurcher with me. I know a lot of people saying running with dogs is amazing fun, but try running with 2 big dogs, it's really hard work. I started this morning in Elie and I ran over the golf course, headed to Cellerdyke Caravan Park. The reason I wanted to go this way was because I want to come over the cliffs next to Elie and get a nice view of town. I'll then head south and hopefully get as far as Crail, which I think is about 26, 27. So my starting route was south from Elie to the local caravan park. This allowed me to come back over the cliffs so I could get a nice view of the town. You can get round at the bottom of the cliffs using a chain walk. I have a separate video all about that, you can check it out after this. It didn't take long to get to the top of the cliffs. At this point the wind was very strong and you won't hear anything I said, but I told a story about one of the times I'd come to the trig point. When I got there I discovered an iPhone on top of the trig but no one was about. I was worried someone had lost it, so I picked it up and walked back towards Elie. As I was coming down from the cliffs I met a runner coming up very fast. I held out the iPhone and asked if he'd lost it. He swore at me and shouted, "Why did you pick it up?" I explained that I was worried that someone had lost it. He said it wasn't lost. It was set to video and I was recording his run so he could set a record on the cliff climb. I have to admit, I've never heard of anyone doing that. Is this a thing? Is this something cliff runners do? He wasn't happy. He grabbed the phone and didn't even say thank you. This seat was designed by Andy Scott, who also did the Kelpies. Both dogs love running on the beach, but it can get a little bit boisterous. Elie is made up of 2 parts, the posh bit, Elie, and the even posher bit, Earl's Ferry. House prices around here are eye-wateringly expensive. A small semi-detached house next to the golf course was recently sold for £750,000. The new owners immediately put in planning permission to knock down most of it so it could be converted to something much bigger. There is a lot of construction work going on at the moment. Some of the larger houses near the beach are getting converted to mega mansions. The main beach in Elie is a beautiful stretch of golden sand. I was here on a midweek non-holiday day, so it was nice and quiet. But if you come in the summer or at a weekend, it can be absolutely mobbed. The yellow house is where I got married. In Scotland you can have a ceremony virtually anywhere, so we had it in the back garden. My wife and I didn't fancy anything bigger fancy, so we invited close family to the house for a small ceremony. It was perfect other than the weather. I think Elie gets better weather than anywhere else in Scotland, as it's so far east the rain from the west often runs out before reaching here. But not on my wedding day. A storm came through and nearly blew away the wedding tent. Thankfully it all ended up okay. The route's now quite straightforward for a while. So it goes along the coast on these nice sort of single track paths, undulating a little bit up and down. I'm heading to the far corner over there, which I think is Anstruther, and then it's round the corner to Crail. I completely forgot that there was an arts festival on at the moment called Scotties by the Sea, and it's Scotty dogs, about 4 foot tall, have been painted different types of artistic style and placed in each of the villages around the coast of Fife. There was one in Elie, which I completely forgot to visit. I'll drop in footage now, I'll go and get that later. And there's some in the other villages which I'll try and spot on the way up. That's the turn off to Ardross farm shop, which is really nice but very expensive food. I always used to go and get a steak pie there, and it said could feed a family of 4, and I have to admit I ate it all myself. was on a lead because we're running near farmland. It's best to be safe than sorry. The Doc, on the other hand, oh, he's managed to get himself caught up again. Doc! Doc! Oh. Yeah, go on, oh, leg.
The stretch between Elie and St Monans is undulating but pretty easy going. As you get further north towards St Andrews, the path becomes much harder, but I'll leave those sections for another video. The start of St Monans is marked by a church. At this point you have to check the tide. If it's high, then don't take the route next to the shore, instead cut up and over the wall into the cemetery. Once you're through the church, then there's a small path that goes up some stairs into the town. An unusual feature of St Monans is the welly garden. If you've ever wondered where wellies come from, then now you know. They're grown from seed here.
I'm just leaving St Monans. It'll take very long to run through. The end of St Monans has got a windmill and some salt pans. We used to water seawater out, dry, create salt. And it's also got a tidal swimming pool. The next village is Pittenweem, which I can see just in the distance there. It's not very far along. Annoyingly, in St Monans, I also forgot to go and find the Scotty dog, so I'll have to go and find that later as well. I've reached the edge of Pittenweem. This is where there's a tidal pool, which has been done up in recent years and is now very popular. I was here yesterday afternoon with 6 or 7 people in it. All swimming skins as well, which is quite impressive considering it's the end of September. The water temperature was a little bit chilly. I think my favourite thing about this place though is the rain shelter that's just above it. I think one of my favourite views on the Fife coastal path is just that little section there where you run down and you get the view of Pittenweem opening out ahead of you. And you get on a sunny day and all the roofs have the sun glistening off them. And it's quite beautiful. Found a Scotty dog at last. Can't say I was overly impressed with that one.
Pittenweem is a beautiful town, but if I had to live here, I think I'd prefer these newer houses on the cliff rather than the ones at the seafront. You get a nicer view here and there's a bit more privacy.
I'm running for 2.5 hours now, just on the edge of Anstruther. I phoned my wife and I told her that I'd meet her here rather than Crail. It's about another 4 or 5 miles on to Crail from here, and I won't have time to be able to get that far. So I'll run to the end of it, Anstruther, and stop. That's be about 2 hours, 50 minutes. Just coming into the edge of Anstruther now. First bit's the golf course, and then Anstruther itself is quite long. And becomes another town called Cellerdyke. So I'll see if I can run to the end of Cellerdyke where there's another tidal pool.
My aim had been to make it as far as Crail, which I think was perfectly doable in 3 hours, if the dogs weren't so slow. If you ask the dogs, they say Crail was perfectly reachable if I wasn't so slow.
Anstruther is famous for its fish and chips. It was so famous that it's very, very popular. The last time I was here, I queued for 1 hour and 10 minutes for them. I can't say any chips are worth queuing for that long. Cellerdyke though, it's joined onto Anstruther, it's a little bit. And there's my wife's van. Right, I'm at the end of the run. Reached the end of Cellerdyke. Overall it's been good. Well, that's the rain on there. But other than that, nice view. I've run for 3 hours after an absolutely pitiful 12 miles. I blame the dogs for this one. They are really a bit of a nightmare to run with. They just go off in different directions, they fight each other, and basically they've got a mind of their own. But I've enjoyed it. I think if you do any form of trail running, then I would recommend the Fife Trail Coastal Path. Anywhere from Leven up until St Andrews, it's pretty stunning. But most of it's good. The only bit I would avoid is the first section from Kincardine to the Forthwood Bridge, because it's pretty boring.
My hope is to come back next year and do the route from Elie all the way to St Andrews. It's a stunning route, but maybe I'll wait for a sunny, less windy day.